told you that you owned parts of a £15 million company, and not just any company, it's a sex party company.
Well, it's true, you do. Killing Kittens is an organisation which throws women-led sex parties in secret venues across the world.
Well, due to one of Chancellor Rishi Sunak's COVID support schemes, British taxpayers now own a stake in the firm.
And Killing Kittens founder Emma Sayle joins us now to explain more. Welcome. It's lovely to have you back here again. I think it was about 10 years ago when we first spoke to you. Yeah. So just explain a little bit about it and why you set it up in the first place.
So it's been going since 2005, and to be honest, I set it up just as sort of an anger that I'd grown since I was little of, well, boys can climb trees, so why can't girls climb trees? And it just sort of kept going. You know, I played the trombone at school because no other boys did, and it was sort of, well, if boys can do it, I can do it. And sort of as you get older, hormones kick in, and then suddenly it becomes about dating and your sex lives. And suddenly it was sort of at university, well, boys can go and sleep around and do whatever they want, but girls, there's that shame and the guilt. And so I just basically wanted to flip the world on its head and create a world, offline and online, where women could explore their sexuality without any of that shame and guilt, and find sort of like-minded individuals that they could have the conversations about. And that's sort of how it started, as sort of events with the online presence, and it's now kind of a tech business.
How many members have you got?
200,000.
So how does it work? How do you get in? Is there a vetting process?
Yeah, so the site is sort of like an adult social network with the big dating element site to it. And you have to sign up to become a member of that site. And then within that, there's the Kittens Association, which sort of only female-identifying humans can be part of, and you sign up to be a member of that in order to come to one of the events, and then you can bring a guest along at that point.
And so the actual events take place sort of within a building with various different rooms, and the rooms have varying degrees of whatever you want to get up to.
On.
Yes, I mean, some of the rooms are just for dancing in your underwear, so there's nothing going on there too much.
Yeah, no, so it's different venues all over the world, really.
And there's rules in there, and this is quite key, because the rules are to make the focus on female pleasure, and that's kind of what keeps everybody safe and keeps everybody on the same page.
Yes, so the rules have always been that we don't let groups of single men in. Every man in there has to be accompanied by a woman. And then, actually, within the events, men can't go up to girls they don't know. The girls make the first move. So that was part of the kind of my anger of just sort of flipping the norm on the head of, like, having been out in my early 20s in too many bars where hands go up your skirts, and it's all the powers in the men. So it was sort of creating the opposite of that.
I'm assuming when it comes to lockdown, then, you know, the business is struggling a bit.
Yeah, although it sort of showed everyone what the business really was, because on paper we have been a tech business probably since about 2016, in that over half our revenue has come from the digital online side of that social network dating world. So we were never sort of in trouble, but suddenly kind of 50% of the revenue was dead in the water.
And that's where you needed the help. So this is when you applied for the Future Fund Rescue Scheme. So just explain a bit about that, because you have to provide half the funding and then the government match it.
Yeah, it's a completely ridiculous setup, really. Although we benefited from it. No, but in that the concept of suddenly you're in a pandemic and the only way you can get money is to raise the money.
Right.
First, you know what I mean? It's like, if we could raise the money...
You can't expect people just to give you money, though.
Well, bounce-back loans, C-bills, all the things that were on offer at the beginning of the pandemic, which most businesses were able to get, you could just apply to your bank and get 50 grand. And just by being a limited company with a bank account. It doesn't matter what your accounts were. But because in 2019, because we had raised already and everything was going into the tech build, we weren't on paper in profit in 2019. So all the usual avenues we couldn't do because computers said no.
So you initially raised 170,000 through crowdfunding.
Yeah.
And then that's matched by the government.
Yeah, so
scheme.
you raise it and then they match what you raise. So we did 170 and so they did 170.
So when you say a completely ridiculous scheme, it gave you 100.
Yeah, no, it was great on that level. The way it was done was sort of when you read it and go, well, if businesses...
I understand what you're saying. I said the approach to it. And so, I mean, a lot of people, so the government essentially own a percentage of the company. Obviously, it's sort of our tax money that goes into that. And I think a lot of people watching this will be quite shocked to know that their money, that their hard-earned cash, is going into a company that is, you know, is an adult industry.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
I mean, at the end of the day, we're a limited company that pays an extortionate amount of corporation tax, VAT, and actually we're kind of... you know, you could call us the pin-up of the Future Fund scheme, because not many companies that receive the Future Fund has gone ahead and done exactly what it's meant to do, because you don't, until you do another raise, then it equates into shares, so equity. So a lot of the Future Fund, I think there's nearly 2,000. I think there's less than 300 that have just have actually gone ahead and done another raise, where the company then takes a stake.
Well, some of the other companies that benefit from the scheme and had their loans converted to equity include Secret Cinema, Snoop, Vacitech, which is the co-developer of the AstraZeneca coronavirus vaccine, Hybrid Air Vehicles. We've got a stake in this as well. Business seeking to bring back airships and blimps. So it's a wide variety.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that, as with many schemes, you can, with all goodwill, pump money into a company and then that company then eventually goes under anyway. But also it would be open to fraud.
Yeah, I mean, there's no guarantee. And actually, if you look, I mean, there's billions of fraud, I think. They've got an entire team, the government, on reclaiming the CBILS and the bounce-back loans that went into fraudulent businesses. So, I mean, I think they're probably, I mean, there's a lot that went down the pan.
And in case anybody was concerned whether their money's been well spent, you've actually made the government some money.
Yeah, I mean, their stake has gone up 70%, so you're welcome.
But do they have to...
You're welcome.
Thank you. Do they have to sell their stake to get their money back, though?
So you do. So the way, and with any kind of limited company that then does raises and you've got the equity and the investors involved, it's a case of when the business starts making profit, and we could turn off the tech build now that everything's being pumped into the technology side and instantly be in profit, and then you start paying dividends. So all the shareholders will then get dividends. So then they will start making their money, and then, you know, in a year's time, we're planning on a much bigger raise and a much bigger valuation, and, you know, you can exit.
Well, maybe they should keep it there, because you are hoping to expand. I know that sort of US and globally you're hoping to go much bigger. So well done for keeping afloat, that's for sure.
Business is good.
Yeah, you know, sex sells.
Sex sells.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.